Welcome, everyone, to the season opening press conference for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing for the 2021 season. I am Jason Weigandt, broadcast host for the championship. Our television package and schedule was just announced this morning with a press release. You folks can find that at promotocross.com. I'll be joined in the booth, of course, by our expert analyst and former series champion, Grant Langston. And our podiums and pit reporting will be handled by Will Christian. And also we're bringing Ashley Raynard aboard. You're probably familiar with her from the Race Day live show with Monster Energy Supercross on Peacock. Peacock will be the live streaming home for Lucas Oil Pro Motocross in 2021. We'll have coverage live and commercial free of all four motos every weekend. And in addition, our exclusive practice show every morning with 1 hour of coverage from qualifying. You can also watch on television, as always, with MAV TV. First motos and second motos will be handled with NBCSN and NBC Network, as has been the case for the series for over a decade now. So we're excited about starting the year and also about looking back. We have returned to the 12 round and 24 moto format, which is tradition for this series. It was an abbreviated calendar of just 9 races in 2020. And that also includes bringing a lot of the traditional tracks back into the series and on their traditional dates. So a lot of the hardcore motocross fans who build their summer around attending these races and even riding a portion of them as part of the amateur program are going to be happy to have the traditional times and traditional events back on tour. However, a little change. We will start this weekend at Fox Raceway at Paula. That will be our new opener for the 2021 season. And that is again this weekend, Saturday, the 29th of May. We will end the series in California as well in September. A second Fox Raceway National, and then the traditional opener, Hangtown in California, will serve as the series closer for 2021. So a little bit of new, but a lot of tradition on this schedule. This is our preseason press conference. We'll have an hour of conversation with 250 riders and then another hour with 450 riders. We'll start with some of the young talent in the 250 class. Again, I'm Jason Weigandt. I'm the host. Most of the media in here, you're probably familiar with these virtual pressers. You can use the raise hand function under the participants tab. Raise your hand if you have a question. I'll start out with 1 question per session, and then we'll turn it over to the media. And we'll have 3 riders in each group, aiming for about 15 to 20 minutes for each grouping. First, today we're joined by Joe Shimoda of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, Max Vohland of Red Bull KTM, and Derek Drake of the BarX Chaparral X-Star Suzuki team. Those are our 3 participants first in the 250 class. So my 1 question, I will go to Max Vohland, a rookie, Monster Energy Supercross. Unfortunately, you didn't get all the races in that you were hoping for due to a hip injury. What are your expectations for motocross, which I'm sure is a little more familiar to you? Are you still in injury recovery mode, or are you 100% ready for moto?
No, honestly, the injury wasn't that bad. I mean, it sounds pretty bad on paper, but I was walking in 2 weeks and riding by 3. So I've had, of course, some extra time to get ready. So I feel 100% ready to go for the season.
And what's the expectation? Have you been doing enough riding with other riders to have any idea where you fit in, or do you need to race to find that out?
I've been pretty fast recently, so everyone, the team's stoked, my dad's stoked, I'm stoked, and I think we're shooting for probably like a top 5. That would be a great goal, and better is even above that. So we're shooting for that, and of course top 10 if that don't work out.
Okay. We'll open it up to the media. We'll go to Dark Side of Moto X Pod first. Dark Side.
Going on, guys. Dark Side here. Joe Shimoda, I'm going to go to you first. You had a really impressive Supercross season, and now we're leading the outdoors, obviously, where you finished, I believe, 11th last year. What have you worked on to improve that 11th and continue to succeed like you've been doing in Supercross?
Yeah, first of all, last year I wasn't kind of ready at the beginning. I did a little injury 2 weeks before a race, and didn't really get to ride for 2 weeks and just went straight to racing. So but it's different this year. I'm healthy and I feel like I'm 100% ready. So but we have to see, and it was to me it was nice to get the podium on end of the outdoor season, and I wanted to start the season with where I left off. So but first round I'm just gonna go out there, try to get a good start, because been a lot of shitty starts. So yeah, just focus on starts and fight up from the front from the beginning.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. I will ask a question of Derek Drake, and then I'll go back to the media. Anthony Sansoda will go to you next. But first, for Derek Drake of that BarX Suzuki team, it was a pretty solid season actually for you last year. And then unfortunately, Supercross, there was an injury, and I know you started a little late. Are you extra motivated, extra focused to try to re-put yourself on the map starting with this series?
Yeah, definitely. It was a bummer how outdoors last year went. I started out pretty good, and then I just had this sickness that was really hard to find out, and took a bunch of doctors and a bunch of research into kind of get me straight again. And then I started riding back, and I broke my femur, and then that took a while. So I came into Supercross with barely any riding in, and then just got some gate drops in. So yeah, I'm 100% ready now, ready to go for outdoors.
All right, thank you. Back to the media, we'll go with Anthony Sansoda.
Yeah, I'll stay with Derek Drake. It's Anthony Sansoda here with MotoOnline.com. Derek, obviously last year on KTM's, this year on the Suzuki. How's the bike feeling as you go into the outdoor season?
Really good. I got to ride my race bike for the first time yesterday during press day, and I loved it and love everything about it.
All right, thanks. Next, I will go to Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra from RacerX. My question is for Joe Shimoda. Obviously, you had a pretty good run at the Supercross Championship. Did that kind of change the goals you had coming into the season for yourself? Did you kind of, raise the bar with that win and those podiums and stuff like that? Can you talk about how your goals changed throughout that season and then what your goals are for this outdoors?
In Supercross season or for the outdoor season?
Can you talk about like how your success in Supercross is going to like motivate you for outdoors?
Oh yeah, definitely motivates me for outdoors. Like a lot more confidence. And yeah, for Supercross, we were just at beginning, like I said on very first press conference, I was kind of had a short time being on a bike in practice. I only had a month and a half to be prepared, and we set our goal for first race as in top 5, and after that grabbing the top 5, we stepped up to top 3, which I did. And after that, we just kind of wanted to like keep improving, like not just fall backwards, So, and finally for Salt Lake City, we kind of decided that no, we can really win it, and it happened. So to me, like going to outdoors, like I'm just gonna go out there, try to make a mistake, and like I actually gonna try to make a mistake, like try hard, and we'll see what happens. And that we'll see, like you can see easier what you need to improve when you make a mistake. So again, we're gonna step it up each race.
Awesome, thanks.
We'll swing it back to Dark Side for another question.
Had to find the unmute button. Talon, Max. So Supercross came up kind of quick for you. It was not necessarily last minute, but there wasn't a ton of prep. You haven't rode a lot of Supercross. Very nervous going into Houston 1. Going into outdoors now, which you grew up doing, you're starting out on the West Coast where you're from. How much more confident are you going into this series versus going into Supercross, 6 months ago?
Well, yeah, of course. The Supercross prep wasn't, I had the time, but, I just was getting on the 250. I was still getting used to the bike even. So, I was still a little behind the 8 ball when it came to that. But for outdoors, of course, my dad racing GPs for so many years. And so that's what we know. So I'm pretty confident going into the season, and we got a lot of extra time to prep the bike and myself. And, I feel great, and I'm riding awesome. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Nick from Moto Limited. Nick.
Yep. So this will be for Max Vohland. Max, this year is the first season Factory KTM has had a 250 outfit for quite a while. How was that setting up the bike? Obviously, it was going to be new for the team to have to go back to getting a 250 program ready. How easy was it getting this bike ready for basically the next few months of racing?
I wouldn't say it was very hard to. Of course, we started off on like my old amateur setting just to get feet wet on outdoors, and then we kind of started from there and put the bigger forks on, and really haven't gone backwards. It's just been getting better and better and better, and it's been great. It hasn't been that hard, and they have all the knowledge over the years, so the team's great, and they definitely know how to get stuff done.
Absolutely. Thanks, mate.
Next up, Kellen Brower.
Yeah, thank you, Kellen Brower here with RacerX. I'm going to stick with Max again. Max, you got the chance to race some EMX 125 over in Europe last year, and that's something that your competitors mostly didn't really get an opportunity to do, and something that you obviously got to kind of build experience from. So what kind of experience did you learn from doing that you can kind of relate to your pro motocross debut?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it ended up being a mutter, of course, Madley in March, but the track was gnarly, and all the practice tracks that we rode over there were extremely gnarly. I still haven't found a track here that has been as gnarly as anything over there yet. So, hopefully that will give me a kind of bit of a bar of how the track's going to shape up for this weekend. And, of course, being the GPs, it's pretty high level racing over there, and they really take care of the riders. So it was really cool to experience that and just get the feel of having all the fans around the track and being at like almost a national pretty much. So, I think it was a little bit of like getting my feet wet, and, I have a little more what to expect to come for this weekend.
Great. Thank you.
We will go back to Anthony Sansota.
Yeah, I'll stay with Max here. Anthony Sansota, MotoOnline.com. I was out at Glen Helen a few weeks ago, Max, and saw Cooper Webb pushing you around a little bit. It looked like you guys consistently played cat and mouse throughout the day. Talk about working with Cooper and what he's kind of taught you going into the season.
Yeah, well, of course, I've had the prep, and he took a little extra time off, so he was just getting back on the bike and doing some outdoor riding. So he was just throwing me out in front of him so he could chase me around. But just riding with a champion and being around a champion is what you want to do, and you learn so much just from not even having to ask anything. But of course, yeah, he's a good rider, and he don't give up, that's for sure. We're out there, and I feel like I would just be about breaking him, and he'd come back 2 laps later and keep the pressure on. So I definitely learned that these guys definitely don't quit.
Nice. Thanks, Max.
One more for our first group. I'll go to Darkside, and then we'll let these boys go and move to our next segment. Darkside.
Derek, I wanted to just ask you, like, what are your expectations? What are your goals for the season? If I'm being honest, in some of the reviews, I haven't really necessarily considered you a guy that might be a top 3 or 4 guy, but tell me where you think you're going to be and why maybe you will be a top 3 guy.
Yeah, this will basically be my first real race back since I did Thunder Valley last year, and I'm expected to get good starts and run up front. So that's where my goals are at, and that's where my head's at, and that's what I'm planning to do.
Okay, works for me, man. Thanks.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, thanks to our 3 riders who joined us here, Joe Shimoda, Derek Drake, and Max Vohland. We'll let them get back to either training or resting, whatever they're going to do before the season begins on Saturday. Thanks for the time, and we'll welcome in our next group. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll welcome some other riders out of the waiting room. Our next group of 250 riders will include RJ Hampshire of the Rockstar Energy Racing Factory Husqvarna squad, Hunter Lawrence from Team Honda HRC, and Michael Mosiman of the Truly Designed Red Bull GasGas team. And same thing, we'll aim for 15 minutes with these 3 riders. We'll just make sure they're all in. I think they are. Once again, I'll ask one question and then I'll open it up to the media. I'll start with RJ Hampshire of that Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna team. RJ, if you look at the final standings last year, it wasn't as good as you probably wanted it to be, but you started the season off with a moto win. You got an overall win. You were top 3 in points for most of it until late in the year. So do you look at it like, I should be able to battle for this #1 plate this season? Because most of last year you were in contention.
Sorry, I joined in late. That one was for me.
Yeah. Your
Okay.
season last year probably doesn't look good on paper because you got hurt at the end, but you were 3rd in points for most of it, and you won a race and you won some motos. So do you look at it like I should be battling for the number one plate, even if maybe last year's standings don't show that because you missed a couple at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I started the series off strong, felt really good. Had a rough go at Indiana, but was able to bounce back right after that. And felt like I had pretty good speed. J Mart and I kind of had a little moment in Minnesota. And then, man, it was just downhill from that. But I feel like we're in a good spot. Made progress on the bike again, just leading up to this series. And yeah, I mean, truthfully, I feel like I should be one of the guys being up there battling and hopefully challenging for this championship.
Okay, thanks. I'll open it up to the media. We'll go first to Mitch Kendra.
Mitch Kendra from RacerX Online. My question's for Hunter. Hunter, obviously you had those injuries last year, and you were kind of just hindered by that shoulder all year long. How do you think you're feeling now compared to how you were in 2019? Do you think you can back to that? You think you can get back to that race winning form, or do you kind of feel like you're ahead of where you were coming into that season?
100%. No, most definitely. I feel like I'm the most healthy body-wise and physically strong and mentally ready. So I'm excited to get underway. Obviously, the Supercross was really good, and we made a lot of progress. My body's doing really well, and shoulder's good. So, mate, I just really excited to go racing. So.
And then how excited are you to be able to go against Jett here again and just kind of battle with him, and then also see his success and, kind of build off one another and push each other?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like more excited to race him than I am anyone else. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, stoked, because I mean, it's just racing, like I'm like, oh yeah, Jett's on the line. Like, I really couldn't care. Like, it's just another racer at that point. So.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Next question, we will go to Dark Side.
Michael Mosiman. So man, GasGas, first year outdoors on the GasGas. Talk about, I'm sure you want to put the Supercross season behind you and start off on a, fresh start outdoors. Just talk about your prep and working with Tyler Keefe and what your motivation is or your goals are in outdoors.
Yeah, prep has been really good, and coming off Supercross, I think I had really good speed, and I don't know, every single year I've been growing, and I've just been on real steady progression for years and years now. And so being with GasGas now, and my bike is better than ever, and it continues to blow me away just how much of a difference that makes. And so I'm excited working with TK, and everything's been really smooth. It's been good. And these guys really want to win, and that's where I'm at too. So it's been good partnership, and prep's been pretty solid. I had a tailbone injury in press day at the last round, and so I took a little time off to kind of recoup that. But I feel fit, I feel strong, and yeah, I think if I come in rested and come in ready, then there's no reason why I shouldn't be fast. I felt good even the other day at press day, so I'm excited.
I don't mean to hog by taking a second question, but you mentioned the bike and how good it is. Is it that much different than your Husky last year?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's it. Thanks.
Anthony Sansoda will go to you with our next question.
Dark Side got me with my question there. So I'll go to RJ Hampshire. RJ, obviously, you mentioned the season last year. How long ago did you start riding start riding outdoors after your injury in Supercross?
Man, it's probably been, I'd say, about 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, I think I started riding as the season ended with Supercross, so I've had plenty of time on the bike. I mean, I don't feel like I'm behind by no means.
Thanks. Next, we'll go to Nick from the Moto Limited show. Nick.
Yep. So this will be for Hunter. Hunter, can you just tell us the transitioning coming out of Supercross, doing the preseason for motocross? It's a bit more longer than what we're used to in previous years. How's that been? Has that helped you, or are you just ready to go from the start? How are we looking coming into the motocross season?
Yeah, really good. I mean, we, normally have the 2 weeks, but I've been injured the past Supercross season, so I'll just speak on behalf of the other guys. They normally have 2 weeks until round 1, so 1 weekend off pretty much. So this year, we've just had 1 extra week, but I don't feel like that's a make or break, that extra week. I felt like coming out of Supercross, I was extremely fit and strong, and yeah, we just got into some outdoor motos, longer motos, just get your body used to that longer duration. And that's all there is to it, really. I mean, whether you're coming in ready or not, outdoors is always a grind, and it's tough. So it's just who can suffer the best. So I feel like I'm ready for that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Hunter.
Thanks, mate.
Alex Gobert, we'll go to you next.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. I'll stay with Hunter. How much of a benefit is it for you to, have that momentum from such a good Supercross season, carrying it into the outdoors? Is that going to just help you get that momentum earlier on in the season?
Yes and no. I mean, it is if you're like, someone who really relies on confidence to do well, which I don't really think I am, because I could suck at qualifying, but deep down I know I'm a racer, so I don't really think that makes or breaks me. But obviously it helps, having a good season, just knowing how strong and majority of my passes were made in the last 5 minutes of the race. Just proves I'm race ready and fit and strong. So yeah, I'm looking forward to race and showcasing that as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll go to Trent from Moto Limited. Trent.
Thanks, Weege. I'll stay with Hunter again. I guess we'll stay on this cycle. The biggest talk so far in this preseason has been about the Yamaha Star Racing Yamahas being the top of the class, and you guys are trying to battle along with the Honda. How much better is your bike this year than it was to the bike that you rode last year? Is there a big improvement from what we've seen out of the Geico program to the factory program?
Yeah, shit ton, mate.
That's all we want to hear. See you up front, you and Jett. Let's go.
That's the goal, mate. It's the goal.
I'll go back to Dark Side for our next question.
All right, I had to step away. I hope this question wasn't asked, but RJ, a lot longer break between Supercross and outdoors this year. Is that beneficial to get more rest time, or is it kind of nice just to stay right in the race groove and move right into the racing, a week and a half, 2 weeks later?
Man, I'm not the guy to ask for that. The last 2 years hurt in Supercross, so I've had a different kind of route coming into it. It's where, look, as soon as we're back on the bike, it's hammer time. Like, we got to get ready. I always feel like I'm kind of recovering from something or, battling something. Just try to be the best I can when the gauge drops for the series. I haven't felt this good in a while, at least leading up to the series. I mean, we were there in Supercross and no one could even tell. So just feel like I need a pretty big bounce back. It's probably like that for a lot of guys, but man, just in a good spot mentally, physically, and pretty stoked on my bike right now. So yeah, we're ready to go.
I'm going to follow up on that actually with you, RJ. I know when you switched to this team last year, you had really high expectations for yourself. And as you said, you haven't maybe had the chance to show it to the degree you want. So is there almost a little pressure on yourself now? It's the end of the second year with this team to finally deliver where you thought you'd be all along?
Yeah, Weege, I mean, I do the right things. I put in the work. I do what I'm supposed to. I mean, I do what they want me to do. And, man, we just haven't had the results to back it up. I mean, of course, last year was by far a huge jump in motocross. I feel like we were battling for wins pretty much right off the bat. And then that injury kind of affected us pretty bad. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions still need to be answered. The team, they invested a lot in me, and I feel that, and it's cool to be that guy that can deliver. But it's just, man, I gotta pull through and stay strong for the whole season.
Okay. Nick from Moto Limited, next question is yours.
Yep, absolutely. So let's go to Michael Mosiman. Michael, towards the end of Supercross, we got a few statements come from Jett Lawrence about a few run-ins that you guys have had. Is this something you guys have spoken about, or is it just something you're not even going to go into and just going to go into motocross and let your riding do the talking? Or was there anything that come from that at all?
Yeah. You know what? I think you're the first person to actually blatantly ask me about it, which props. I don't know why everyone's been dodging it. Yeah, I don't know. There's words spoken, and I really don't get into it too much. I don't have any huge problem with him. It's like, yeah, he said some words about me, but he really didn't do anything. And I don't know where we're at, where we stand. Is it a rivalry? Is it not? I don't really pay attention to it too much, but just try to, go out there and say it on the track rather than anywhere else, or go public with it, or make any big scene. For me, really just kind of being calm, cool, and collected off the track is going to translate on the track. And so I'm not really getting into it too much, but yeah, definitely there's, something going on there. And I think one of the realizations that I had is, as it was all going down, I was like, man, I just don't want to deal with this. And, and then, anywhere you go, it's like, oh, what are you going to do? And people telling you how you should feel, what you should think, and, what you need to do. And, you got everywhere you go. And it's just like a pain when you can't get away from it. And so, yeah, I dealt with it and, try to deal with it. Just deal with it and go on, keep going, do my thing. But one thing I did think was cool was that I was like, you know what? I remember when I was a little kid and there was, the battles going on, or the rivalries, or the, trash talk, or whatever it was. And I was always, the kid going around to my friends, oh, who's going to win? What's going to happen? And it was like a realization. I was like, dang, like I'm those guys in that battle now. So that was just a kind of cool realization. Took me a lot of words to get to say that, but yeah, I just keep going, doing my thing.
Sounds like there's some positives out of it. Thanks, Michael. Cheers, mate.
Didn't you guys settle it over milkshakes at Old Market Grill the other day, Mike?
Oh man, dude. Hey, how that dude? I was yeah. So you know what? Here's the story. So dude, so many people tell me what I should think, how I should feel. Oh, he ran my name through the mud. He said whatever, but like, it doesn't actually like bother me that much at all. Like, dude, he passed me straight up. Like, we already did our thing like before, where he took me out, I got him back, like we're even set, right? And whatever he thinks, like that's whatever. But yeah, I was a little bummed that he said what he said to the media and not to my face first, because if I was gonna say something, I'd want to say it to his face. But yeah, anyways, so, and dude, I went to church this past weekend. It was on forgiveness, and I'd already forgiven him, but I definitely like thought about it. I was like, dude, I just need it. And then I saw him at Old Market Grill. I saw him come around the corner. I said, you know what? Like, dude, who cares? And I said, hey man, how you doing? Good to see you. Like, fist bump. And that was it. And we'll move on, and I'm gonna race him hard everywhere I go, and no different than I would anyone else. So we're good, but yeah, we're good.
I'm happy for you. That's good.
All right, we have time for one more question with this group. MX Cube, introduce yourself, and I'll give you one question here, and we'll move on to our next group of riders. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks. Hi, Hunter. So question from German side was, how was the speed with you and your brother in the outdoors? Is it different, or is it the same like Supercross?
Yeah, welcome from Germany. And no, it's good. Like, we train with each other obviously all the time, and I can't get away from the guy, unfortunately. So speed, we're always pushing each other, and there's no sandbagging, because whenever he's not feeling it, I'll be dishing out the whoopings, and makes him kick himself into gear, and then vice versa. So same for him, like whenever I'm not feeling it or whatever, which is very often, just to clarify, and he's there to keep me on my toes. So it's it'll be good, be interesting.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks to our group, Hunter Lawrence. Thanks to Michael Mosiman. Thanks to RJ Hampshire. Good luck. We'll see everybody on Saturday. We'll move on to our next group. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, boys.
Right. We will have 4 additional riders. That'll be our final group for the 250 class. We'll welcome them on in, and I'll give you the names and the teams. We will have Jeremy Martin of Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha, Jett Lawrence of Team Honda HRC, Justin Cooper, also of Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha, and Austin Forkner of Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. We'll welcome in those riders, and I think we're waiting on Jett Lawrence, but we have 3 of the 4. Hey, we had 3 in the other session, so we can start with 3. Let's see. We're just curving some hats here to make sure they look good with Forkner. You look solid, dude. Looking good. Always car time with Forkner.
Back in the car, right? Every time. Jeez.
Every interview Forkner's done the last 3 months has been in the car. Same thing with Justin Cooper there, and I think we have Jeremy Martin as well.
Yeah, I'm just driving, gang.
All good. Not to the airport, right?
Yeah, no airport shenanigans.
All right, man. So what I'll do is I'll start with one question for one rider, and then I'll open it up to the media. Actually, Jeremy, I'll just start with you. We haven't seen you since that poorly timed injury from Supercross. I know that had to be super frustrating. What has the mental roller coaster been like? I'm sure that was a crusher. How have you been able to get over that, and how are you feeling coming into this championship, Jeremy?
Yeah, no doubt that the shoulder coming out was a big deal, and I didn't even get a chance to race yet this year, so been pretty bummed about that. But just trying to rehab it, man. Shoulders are a pain in the butt, and I finally feel like I'm in a pretty good position to hopefully contend for wins here in this championship, and I know the field's going to be tough, so we'll see what we can do. What's the physical status of that shoulder? Is it good, or is it one of those things you're hoping for the best, or you're good? I feel good, but racing's a different element, and we'll see what happens. I wouldn't say I'm 100%, but I'm doing what I can with the cards I was dealt. So I guess that's just the best way to kind of put it.
Okay. First question, the media. We will go to Dark Side.
Austin, no outdoor results since 2018, man. We know you've been up and down with some injuries, and I know how frustrating that's been for you. Recently you did the video with Dirt Shark, and you talked about, man, I gotta back it down, right, a little bit at times and be smart about that stuff. How do you put that into play though when the gate drops? It's very difficult to mentally say, all right, maybe I need to back it down.
Yeah, that's what's tough is there is times when you have to hang it out and go for it, and there is times when you have to know when to settle or when to take a second or take a whatever. And that's I don't really think, like, some of my injuries haven't even been related to that, but that's just part of the learning process of each and every year. That's just what I've been learning. Some of my injuries haven't even come from racing, so they've happened in practice or whatever. So I've just taken what I've learned from each and every kind of thing that's happened and learned from it and tried to apply it to my racing and everything the best that I can. But as far as not racing outdoors for 2 years, that's been it's obviously sucked. I've wanted to, and I've either been coming off of injury right at the end of the season, and the team's been like, nah, just there's no reason to go back and race 2 races, or whatever. So it just hasn't worked out. But I'm excited for this year, and I'm excited to be coming in. I would say pretty healthy, so I don't really have any lingering injuries right now. So yeah, I'm excited.
Next, Mitch Kendra.
Hey, Mitch Kendra from Racer X. This one's for Jett Lawrence. I asked Hunter the same kind of question. Are you motivated to get out there? He said he's not super excited to just race you, but be honest, are you ready to kick his butt every week or what?
I'm excited definitely excited to race my brother again. It's gonna be cool. It was a good feeling at Salt Lake City to go and race and to have 2 Lawrence brothers out there. So no, it's going to be exciting, and hopefully I can beat them. But no, we'll just have to wait and see. We've both been putting in the work, so it'll just be exciting and just a waiting game to really see who the better brother is. But no, I'm pretty excited to get this underway.
And then real quick, how is it like to be able to push each other just week to week and asking the same question? What's it like?
It's good because we both know we're pretty close to the front of like the 250 pack. So it's we always know like if one's going fast, it's like, dang, I got to step it up now. So it's good because we always have someone. Training never gets bored, so we always have someone to ride with. So it just you never want to be the slower brother. So it's good.
I'm rooting for your little brother. Go.
Thank you.
Jett, is that the same jacket that your brother was just wearing?
I'm gonna go and say no for my safety. So
okay, I like the efficiency. I like the efficiency. Get the maximum use out of that jacket.
Yeah.
Anthony Sansoda, next question is yours.
Hey guys, Anthony Sansoda here, MotoOnline.com. Just going to flip this one to Justin Cooper. Justin, obviously the Supercross Championship, you had a bit of a break there. How was the break and how are you feeling going in?
Yeah, we had a little bit more of a break this year coming in. We have a couple more weeks, so was able to, take a solid couple of days off and, get right back into the motos and outdoors because didn't really get much of a break during the Supercross, and before Supercross, I was obviously hurt. So it's been tough getting into the motos and getting, through them, but we only have a limited amount of time to prepare for these things. So I've done as many as I can now, and I feel like I'm as prepared as I can be. And coming off the Supercross Championship, I've obviously got some confidence. So yeah, just looking to have some fun this weekend and do the best we can.
Dark Side, we'll go to you.
J-Mart, last year championship was so close, and really the difference was probably bike. I mean, that's really what we, at least in the media, think, and you made the move to, remedy that problem. Now you're on what's considered maybe the best bike out there. How do you feel on that bike outdoors now that you're on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun to get back on the Yamaha, obviously for one, I've been back home in Minnesota doing a lot of riding, and just to see the difference in lap times from, what I was on the Geico bike. Obviously I was really fast and there was a good gauge there, but now, to come back and to be on this bike and see the difference in speed, and then the amount of, I guess you could say, effort it takes throughout a moto to continue to go that speed has been, it's been very cool to see. So, I'm comfortable, and it's kind of time to try to make something happen on this Yamaha, because I haven't done anything yet this year. I've just been patiently waiting to be able to race here.
Right on.
Next, we will go to Trent.
Yeah, thanks, Weege. Send this one over to Jett. Jett, you won the final overall of the year last year in motocross. You win the final Supercross this year, leading into motocross. You coming out to sort of win round one and stamp your authority on this championship early?
I don't know. I'm just I haven't raced any of the guys in outdoors yet. So well, I have last year, most of them, but it's always a different year. So there's many people that have jumped up, but no, it's just gonna see where we are at the first round and go from there. You can't win a championship off the first round, but you can sure lose it. So I'm just gonna go in with a pretty open mind and just hopefully get a win. If it falls in my hands, pretty easy. But if not, I'll just take whatever I can that day and just make sure I'm there for the rest of the season. Make sure I give the boys a bit of a hard time. Make sure they whoever the champion is make sure they don't get it easy.
Awesome job. Thanks, man.
Kellen Brower.
Yeah, thanks. Kellen Brower here with Racer X. This question's for Austin Forkner. Obviously, the 2 years off, not racing motocross, this is the first time in a while that you've actually gone through the gamut of actually doing outdoor testing and getting prepared for the season again. So where do you actually feel outdoors compared to what you've done in past years back in 18 and 17? How do you feel actually riding outdoors again?
Well, the thing is I actually have ridden quite a bit of outdoors in the past couple of years, even though I haven't raced it. I've ridden quite a bit because when I came back from my knee, I rode at least 2 or 3 months of outdoors before I started riding Supercross again. When I came back from my internal thing last year, I rode all summer pretty much outdoors, hoping to be able to go race, but it was kind of my the team's decision a little bit, probably more than mine, because I was like, yeah, I want to go, and they were like, I mean, by the time I was ready, it was kind of late in the season, and so they were like, nah, just focus on. So I've ridden quite a bit of outdoors in the past. I haven't raced any, but I've ridden quite a bit of outdoors in the past couple of years. So it's, I mean, I feel good. I feel, but that's the thing is I've felt good riding it last year. I felt good riding the year before. I just haven't raced, so I don't really know where I fit in, and it's every year it's different, like of who's fast, of who's the guys to beat and stuff. So I haven't ridden in a few years, so I don't really know who's going to be good or who's not. I'm not really worried about anybody in particular. I'm just going to go in and see where I fit in the mix.
Cool. Thank you.
Nick from Moto Limited, next is yours.
Yep. So we'll keep this with Austin. Austin, a question I sort of have is coming back out of Supercross. Obviously, there was another injury, unfortunately. We sort of find with you, there's a bit of a blowback from fans that you sort of get on social media about injuries and not being able to put a season together. How does that mentality go? Obviously, spending so many times off the racetrack, how do you mentally put that together? Is that something that feeds you coming into motocross to make it more important, or can you block it out, or how does that affect the mental game?
I mean, it's everybody, like, obviously, yeah, there's all that talk on social media and everything, and everybody says, oh, like, there's, I'm busted, basically. There's no, I've done all these years, and I've won a lot of races over the past couple of years, but I haven't won a championship, and I've missed a lot of races. I've missed probably more races than I've raced each year, so, which obviously sucks. So it's really made me, I guess, appreciate racing just in general, not just about the results, but just being out there on the track racing. It's made me appreciate that a lot more with how much I've missed. As far as the mental side of it, it hasn't really raised or added any like pressure to get it done, because I'm a few years into the 250 class and everything, and I've yet to get the results that I really want. It hasn't really added any pressure to that. I mean, basically, other than my rookie season, I've been expecting or hoping or trying to get the championship. Rookie season, you kind of just are getting your feet wet, but after that, since then, I've been expecting a championship. So and it hasn't happened. So as far as just I don't really care what people say online or what people think or anything like that, because I know where I want to be and where I should be, and people are always going to talk, and it's just, that's kind of us as riders or professional athletes in general, is our part of our job is to just block all of that out and do what we need to do on the bike.
Absolutely. Thanks, Austin. Thanks, Wedge.
Thank you. Justin Cooper, I got a question for you. Last year you started out injured, so it was a slow start to the Nationals, but it was a great start to the series in 2018, 2019, and then you weren't able quite to stay in that title hunt after that. Did you learn from that? Is there something about the long season that changes? Anything you do to have that staying power? Because you were winning races early for 2 years, but weren't quite able to stay there to the end.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out with myself as well. Like, I've always come out super hot at the early rounds, like, of a series. and I like started to like dwindle off towards the end. And I don't know really what it is, but I've definitely had to figure it out this year because I came out at the first round of Supercross this year and I won that. And I really like, it was in the back of my head that I couldn't do that again because, you know, I had to get it done this year. I put a lot of pressure on myself. So it's just staying on top of it, man. I think I've really, you know, the series is definitely long, and with both series going on, like by the end of the outdoor series, you're kind of, you know, tired and over it. But in order to stay with that, you know, title fight, you need to, you know, tough it out and be there every weekend, no matter what, you know, you're facing. So something I've been definitely trying to work on and figure out for myself, because, you know, like you guys, I see it myself, and, you know, it's not very clear to me what's going on either. So definitely came in injured last year, but I had that figured out by like, you know, round 3, I was, you know, feeling like 90% where it wasn't hurting me, but I guess it did cut my preparation going into the outdoor series. So it's hard to figure out even from my standpoint, but yeah, just trying to work on it myself and, you know, do the best I can.
Okay, thanks. Alex Gobert, next question is yours.
Thanks, Weed. Yeah, this one's for Jett Lawrence. As you transition from rookie into title contender, so to speak, does the pressure increase? Is that even something that you feel as a rider, being a young rider?
I don't really think you don't really get pressure put on to you unless you put the pressure on by yourself. It's more of a mental thing. I feel like if you think you have pressure, of course you're going to think you have pressure. But if you don't really think it much, you don't really have that stress of having pressure that you have to go and get good results. But I don't think much has changed really. I think I've just gone the smarter on the bike, fitter, stronger from as a rookie, and just starting to ride more as an adult. I feel like not so much of as a kid, I could say. So, but no, I think being in title contention it's fun because you're always going out there and you have something to go for. Where when you're a rookie, you kind of just go out there just thinking, okay, let's just go have my best, try and get a good race and get a good position. Where now you just have that bit of fire to go and make sure you try and win or be up there battling with the top boys. So no, I don't think there's much pressure on me. I don't feel like I put that much pressure on myself. So yeah.
I know it's kind of cliche, but is this the type of moment in the season where it's just taking it race by race, or are you thinking about the championship, the possibilities, and the longer term?
I think if you think about the championship too much, that's what can wreck you. I think what you said, just take it race by race. I'm pretty sure Craig said this in one of the things. Just be present, really. Just be present, be in the moment, and in each race, take it race by race, and just hey, whatever you end up at the end of the year, if you put in, make sure you're present and make sure you're present and we're there every race. The results will show at the end of the championship. So yeah, I think focus on the championship would be isn't the best idea, and just try and be present every race.
All right, awesome. Best of luck for the season.
Cheers.
Trent from Moto Limited, we'll go to you.
Yeah, thanks, Weege. This one's for J-Mart. Jeremy, I mean, it's no secret you want to go to a 450. You've been working towards it. I mean, probably part of the reason you went to the Star Racing Yamaha team this year was to try and get yourself one of them. Is there extra motivation now with this title and obviously a big signing to Star Racing for you to go out and prove yourself in this 250 outdoor season?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to be able to have a good showing here in the outdoors to lock a 450 ride, you know, and that would be the ultimate goal. I think a lot of people don't really, you know, if I'm being honest, really question me about my outdoor riding or any of that stuff. What they want to see is a 250 championship and a really good season in that side of things. So I think that's kind of the last piece of the puzzle that I'm really kind of looking for. Or other people that are in a position to give me a 450 ride are kind of looking for. So for me, we'll just, I was obviously injured this year and I didn't even get to show anything that I got. So now the focus is on the outdoors, and we'll just try to make the best of that and, see what happens. Hopefully I can get a ride for next year somewhere.
Thanks, man.
Dark Side, you got your hand up. You got one more?
Yeah, if we have a second. Justin Cooper. Obviously, Star is one of the dominant teams now. Look at the championships you guys are racking up year after year. I just want to know, going into outdoors, who's been the best at the test track week in and week out? Is that you or any of the other guys? Give me your list.
Going into outdoors, we have the East Coast guys. We kind of flip flop. Every time they go race Supercross, we're on outdoors, and every time, it's just flip flops and back and forth. So we've really only had, these last 2 or 3 weeks at the tracks together, and everyone's going pretty darn fast. It's pretty hard to separate out there, and it's going to be a really good season, I think, from a fan standpoint. We have there's so many riders that are coming in this season healthy and ready to go, and trying to prove a point. So I think it's going to be good. As far as the teammates go, I feel like I'm always pretty strong, but those guys are all right there behind me. So I would expect any of us to be up front at any time.
Right on. Well, I need to know for fantasy purposes.
You can pick me for fantasy. I'll put you up front.
All right, I got it. A lot.
Okay, we're just about ready to wrap this up. What I'm going to do is I'll ask each of you 4 riders specifically about this track. We always make this assumption that the Southern California tracks, everybody rides them all the time. First of all, that might not even be true of this one for you. And also, they might prep it differently. So I'll just give an order here. Or Austin Forkner, I'll start with you. Where's Fox Raceway at Paula for you? Is that a track you've ridden a million times, or is it not actually like that?
No, not for me. Because I'm obviously ride in Oklahoma as much as I can. So I'm more of the East Coast side of, a Red Bud, a Bud's Creek, a Unadilla. I'm more accustomed to dirt like that, or even like a Southwick, because we've been riding a sand track a lot lately. So the California tracks are probably my least favorite type of dirt or whatever. They always do quite a better job, obviously, prepping it for a race than they just do during the week. Because I've been riding out here for a couple months, testing and setting the bike up, and then I just went back to Oklahoma for like the past month or so. Now I'm back, so I've been riding it a decent amount. But yeah, they prep it a lot better for the national. But still, it is typical kind of California, or I guess Paula, dirt, little rocky. But yeah, I mean, some guys ride it a lot more than me, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it was a decent track the other day when we worked for press.
Jett Lawrence, what are your thoughts on Fox Raceway?
It's last year it was good, like, because it was different from the rest of the other national tracks, because they all just rip it stupidly deep and actually don't form up lines as good as the GP tracks do. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. They added a lot of sand yesterday. It was on sale at Lowe's, I guess, so they added heaps. And yeah, it was a lot more technical tracks. You have to make sure you can't bury the bike and that stuff. So it's going to be fun. And a lot of people do ride there. I know my buddy Joe does. He's the local bandit there. So, but it's always different on race day compared to practice days. So no, it's going to be exciting. Everyone's at an pretty equal plane right now. We've all ridden the track once. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. So yeah.
Jeremy Martin, is this a track you've ridden a ton, or is it not necessarily like that for you?
I mean, I've definitely rode it quite a bit over the years now, just from being a professional, but I've kind of did most of my prep back in California or back in Minnesota. So I think I've rode it, probably 5 times, I would say, total, since I kind of got back on the bike. And yesterday the track was fun. They added a ton of sand in the back, and it was pretty gnarly because it would grab you in the bike pretty good. And you a couple people, I think, went down. They landed in the wrong spot on one of the downhills, and it was pretty easy to go over the bars. So I think the amateurs will work it in a little bit more on Friday, and then I think Saturday they'll do a good prep, and hopefully we get a great racetrack, and yeah, all of us just hammer it out and put on a good show.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy. And last one, Justin Cooper, what's your experience level with Fox Raceway? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, compared to last year, it's a lot. They had a lot of sand, like all these guys are saying. I think Jeremy's talking about me because I underestimated the sand on the downhill, and I jumped down it, and my bike just stopped. It was one of the first couple laps, and I went right over the bar. It was kind of funny, but the sand is no joke. They added tons there, and if it doesn't get worked in, it's almost going to be like a Southwick in that back section. So I'm looking forward to it. The track was really fun, and it got pretty rough. So I think it's going to be, a good racetrack this year, and hopefully it doesn't really form to be one line.
Okay, that's the hour for our 250 riders. Thanks to the media. Again, thanks to our riders here, Jeremy Martin, Justin Cooper, Austin Forkner, and Jett Lawrence for joining us. We'll have a whole nother hour with 450 riders. Marvin Muscan, Max Amstey, Dylan Ferrandis will be our first group, but we need a couple minutes for them to come on in. But we want to thank our 4 riders, and good luck, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday.